YouTube. What's up? Jeff, should we tell him what we're doing?
Let's just do it.
Might as well.
You want to tell him?
Yeah, we'll just tell him. We'll just tell him. Here's the deal. We want to get to the show faster. So we're going to try to make this part really small. We're not trying to shortchange you guys. We want to get to the show faster.
This is kind of an episode. Like there's some stuff that happens in this one. Right. Also, I think we want to be respectful of your time. We're appreciative that you're here watching us, and you probably want to hear the stuff in this one too.
Yeah, and we're not just trying to ramble. I know we've kind of done that a lot lately, but I think that's just a product of season 2 being kind of
up to this point.
Holy shoot, this one. Oh my gosh. I mean, I thought we had some good TV last week, but oh my word. So Jeff, with that, wait, what you guys are getting ready to watch? If you're new, you're just joining in, you're like, hey, this is an awesome episode. Let me check out these guys. You guys are getting ready to watch the behind the scenes of Jeff and I over here recording our podcast. That means what you get is all the outtakes, all the bloopers, all the stuff that Jeff over there, who does all the editing, is going to cut out later and polish this thing up. So enjoy. Please comment down below. We like to respond to that, and subscribe while you're here. We would appreciate that as well. Jeff, woohoo! Let's go.
Do this. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
This is my first time.
You're new here, aren't you?
First time.
Boom!
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time. Wow, we're starting out great. Welcome to Babylon 5 for the first time, not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I'm watching Babylon 5 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm also watching Babylon 5 for the very first time. We are two veteran Star Trek podcasters watching Babylon 5 for the very first time, and we're looking for those Star Trek-like messages and trying to decide just how much we like this series.
Like I said, this is not a podcast about Star Trek, but we are, like Brent said, Star Trek podcasters. So those references are going to show up from time to time. So we play the rule of 3. That means we get 3 references apiece to Star Trek.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3. No substitutions, exchanges, or refund.
Hey, Brent.
Yes.
We have an email address. It's babylon5first@gmail.com. It's the number 5 and the word first. And we're getting emails through there right now of people sending screenshots of their reviews for the big giveaway that we're doing at the season 2 wrap up. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the prize right there.
You mean this awesome vintage, and by vintage I mean old, Captain John Sheridan action figure still in box with little teeny tiny Babylon 5 station?
It's like Babylon 0.5.
Maybe 0.005.
Right? It's so tiny. It's so cute. It's a great prize. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in this episode. All you got to do is screenshot a review that you leave for us, email it to us, or hit us on Twitter at Babylon First. But
Jeff, what about those people who left a review like a long time ago?
Well, if they aren't, let's see. We've got TSF 47 who won last time, and we have Bryn Talon, who is also disqualified.
He should totally be requalified. Reinstate him.
You gonna run?
Where's Elon Musk? Let's reinstate him.
Okay, we're gonna. Okay, let me just. Can't hear any of that. Didn't hear any of it. But for all those people that have left reviews, those are in the hopper too. So, I mean, you can't go, that's one of the things with Apple, you can't like leave a lot of reviews, but if you left one and you didn't win a prize last time, you are in the drawing for the one this time. But I want to share an email that we did receive a little while ago from someone named Brett. Brett emailed us, babylon5first@gmail.com, the number 5, the word first. And I'm just going to share a little snippet of what they put in there, because I think it's a really cool story, and I think it's one that I know I can relate to in some ways, and I think a lot of our listeners and viewers can as well. Brett says, please realize it was a much different time back then. While today, everything geek is chic, with comic book movies drawing record-breaking crowds and a plethora of diverse sci-fi shows literally at one's fingertip. We're going to do great today. This is going to go well. Please realize it was a much different time back then. While today, everything geek is chic with comic books, drawing record-breaking crowds, and a plethora of diverse sci-fi shows literally at one's fingertips. Back then, the Star Wars or Star Trek geek was ostracized, laughed at, marginalized. We were as stereotyped as the famous Shatner SNL sketch. In the spring of my sophomore year of college, a friend loaned me a VHS tape of the pilot of Babylon 5, which had just aired a couple months earlier. It was cheap. It looked like a bad Trek ripoff. But I was a junkie coming out of an era when new sci-fi was few and far between, so I was completely willing to watch. Season 1 came along and looked better, but still came off as cheap, and the stories were very hit and miss. As it went on, I saw that it was not the clone of Trek I thought it was. The show was starting to click for me. Then Season 2 landed, and like the difference between 1 and the pilot, it got better, both in production and storytelling. Somewhere before the middle of the second season, I realized I was looking forward to B5 more than DS9 from week to week. I still love Trek, but Babylon 5 was the new king to me. Then the third season landed. It got even better. He shares a lot more, but now that we're reaching the end of season 2, I thought this was a really good time to share that story and get us a little hyped up for season 3.
I don't know. I'm a little trepidatious about getting hyped up for season 3 because we got really hyped up for season 2. And while season 2 certainly has had its bright moments, very bright moments. And in fact, season 2's brighter moments have been brighter than season 1's brightest moments, for sure. Season 2's lower moments have definitely not been as good as a lot of season 1's kind of normal moments, you know? So season 2's been a little bit of a roller coaster for both of us, Jeff. So I'm a little trepidatious about getting hyped for season 3, but I got to admit, I'm kind of doing it anyway.
Well, I think given this episode that we're about to talk about, if it continues like this, if this is the ride we're on, then, I mean,
yeah,
it should be great.
This is the ride we want. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, this is where, I mean, we've been saying it the last couple of episodes, like, this is the storyline we want to focus on. Like, stay here. And they keep, like, doing this one-off episode about a weird psychop thing and another weird episode about that thing over there. And like, no, get back to this. Stay in this lane right here. We like this one.
Yeah. Well, I got one more to share. This is from YouTube. And Career Night shared some cool stuff behind Delen's transformation from a while ago. Career Night says, this was like wild news to me. And it just, I don't know, makes a lot of sense. I think it's cool. The original idea for Delen's transformation was she was also going to go from male to female as part of becoming a Minbari human hybrid, which is why in the pilot her makeup is so androgynous. JMS said the idea was dropped because they couldn't come up with a good way to change Mira Furlan's voice to sound masculine. I can only imagine how much people would have freaked out over having a trans character back in the 90s.
I don't know that they would have, because
what? Really?
No, I don't think they would have. One, because it's an alien who is going literally into a cocoon and coming out as like literally making a change, not somebody who is either superficially doing something or even surgically doing something. And it's an alien. That's the whole thing about like Star Trek and why sci-fi works, because you can do stuff with aliens you can't do with humans. If it was a human that did it, there might be an issue.
But I mean, like, here we are, and it's 2023, and we, in the, a season or two ago, I think it was in the third season they were introduced. I don't even remember their names, but in Star Trek Discovery, they have, what's their name? I can't even remember their name.
Blue and Ian Alexander.
Yes, yeah. There's
I forget her last.
Blue Del Barrio.
Last name. Blue Del Barrio. Thank you. I forget their last name. Yeah.
We're great. I love both of them, but I mean, one's presented as non-binary, and again, they're using aliens, or using the Trill to kind of tell part of these stories, but still, like, people were losing their minds, and that was a year. That was like a year ago. But
in both of those situations, you had humans as actors who were in real life trans or non-binary coming in and playing the same type of character. Like, and largely there is most people, like the people that were losing their minds, there was a whole other group of people that was like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that's like the point now is there are a group of people that would say that. I don't know that group of people would have stood up and told them to shut up back in the 90s.
I just don't know that they would have showed up back in the 90s. They might have. They really might have. Because you know what we did have back in the 90s? We had RuPaul.
True.
We had what's that street down in Key West that has all the drag shows, which are hilarious to go to, by the way, if you've never been. I don't know if they're still doing them or not. I imagine they are. But remember, we didn't really have trans people in the 90s. Like in the 90s, they were called transvestites, not transgendered. Right.
Well, and they were a punchline. Mrs. Doubtfire, came out around this time. It was a joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I point taken. Looking back on that with our eyes today, yeah, that's kind of. It seems like it'd be kind of ballsy back then. Yeah, I think so. I wonder if I'd be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong on this one, honestly. I don't think people would have thought two things about it. I really don't. But I could be wrong. They really could have.
Well, we can imagine the past however however we want. Sure. I think it would have been fascinating if they had done it. And it makes sense to me too. It's what I think is fascinating though. The tech is the thing that stopped it, right? They couldn't technologically make her voice sound appropriate as his voice, so they scrapped it. But they still moved forward with all the CGI that they decided to use for TV. That's just a Jeff thing. I'll let that go. Mm-hmm.
I have heard that before, though. I have heard that Delenn was originally supposed to be a male, and then they wound up changing it for one reason or another. I didn't know that it had to do with the voice, though. Interesting.
Yeah, that is kind of just a neat behind the scenes thing. Mm-hmm. That's all I had to share on this one.
Well, with that, Jeff, we like our games. We got the rule of 3. We've got another game at the end of the show where we predict what the next week is going to be about based on title alone, not having seen anything. And now is the time to pay the piper. Look back on what we said last week that this week was going to be about and fess up and just own your mistakes. Jeff, I'm going to own mine right away. I said this was Delenn. Struggling with something. I don't exactly remember what. I think what I said was it's not Londo and the redemption of Londo, which I got right. That's by the way, but there was definitely some Londo in this one. But that's what I was nowhere close to this one. Jeff, what'd you have?
I thought Kefir was going to get killed by the shadows in this one. The shadows were there. They killed a lot of people. Kefir was not one of them.
He was on a smoke break.
Probably. Although there were no Star Furies in this one either. So, I mean, maybe he was...
It's been a while since we've seen a good Star Fury, like a good launch sequence and everything.
Which is pretty wild when you think they literally added a cast member to lead the Star Fury crew, and then we have less Star Furies than we've ever had before.
Yeah.
That's a little odd and disappointing. Well, for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about whatsoever, you've never seen this episode for whatever reason, you've decided to watch and listen to this podcast before checking out the episode. If you've watched it in the past, it's been a while, whatever, you need a reminder. Brent, can you tell everyone what the long Twilight struggle was about?
Boy, oh boy, what a season 2 finale this one was. Woo-hoo!
This was not the finale, Brent.
No?
No.
Not a season finale.
Got like 2 more. I
think. Are
you
sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, Londo has been summoned home to Centauri Prime. In a one-on-one with Lord Rifa, Rifa declares that the end of the Centauri Narn War is at hand. You see, they've intercepted a Narn transmission about a plan that they have to marshal their forces in an attack on the Centauri supply hub, which means that the Centauri will not only be waiting in ambush to obliterate this fleet, but as soon as they've done that, they're going to head straight for the Narn homeworld, which will now be left defenseless. And Londo is the key to victory. All he has to do is call on his special friends one last time. Londo looks super uncomfortable with this whole idea, which totally means that this is it, right? This is the redemption of Londo Mollari. that is until he says he'll do it. But he hasn't done it yet, so there's still hope, right? Well, back on Babylon 5, a stranger has been appearing on a station, except it's not a stranger. It's Drawl. Remember that guy, the battery down on the planet below? Or at least it's a Drawl that's 30 years younger, which, by the way, is a really cool way of just explaining away a recasting. He invites Sheridan to come down for a visit, and he gives them a +1. Well, while that ambush is happening way out there, Sheridan and Delenn, because, of course, you know, she is the +1, head down to meet Drawl. Drawl says that he has a pretty good idea of what this planet now has to offer, and he's offering all of its resources to Sheridan and the upcoming long Twilight struggle. And it will give them hope. But just as the shadow ship obliterates the Narn fleet, Drawl feels a great disturbance in the Force. It's as if 1,000 voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Captain, it's time you go back. You're going to be needed there. And oh, Delenn, introduce him to the others. The others? What others? Well, back on the station, Londo has arrived and is delivering the news that the Narn have completely and abjectly surrendered to the Centauri. And he's reading their draconian terms of surrender that the Centauri are imposing, which basically means that they're going to execute the entire Kari, which Jakar is a part of. I don't know if we ever knew that before, but hey, Jakar is a part of the Kari. And if one Narn steps foot out of line and even accidentally kills a Centauri, 500 Narn will be summarily executed as vengeance. And they're also, of course, going to set up an entire puppet government on Narn. And oh, one more thing. Londo is no longer an ambassador and must return home. Sheridan says, like hell he will. He's asked for sanctuary, and now he's under my protection. Londo doesn't like it.
You said that happened to Londo.
Oh, dang. What did I say?
Yeah. You said
Londo's no longer an ambassador?
Yeah, if you just say Jakar, I can cut it in.
I'll redo the sentence.
Okay.
I'll redo the sentence. Oh, and one more thing. Jakar is no longer an ambassador and must return home. Sheridan says, like hell he will. And he's asked for sanctuary, and he's now under my protection. Londo doesn't like it, but there's not much he can do except for yell, no, Commander! Captain, whatever he calls him, I don't know. Jakar does the political walk of shame, but he does so with his head held high after giving a great little speech. Well, later, in secret, Londo is still looking very uncomfortable with this whole thing, but it's too late. He is fully complicit. He's an active participator in this entire thing, and he has as much blood on his hands as the rest of them. Sorry, Londo, you're the bad guy now. In a secret meeting, Sheridan promises all of his resources to helping free the Narns, which is followed by another secret meeting, one in which Delenn, Garibaldi, and wait for it, Ambassador Kosh are introducing those others that Drawl talked about to Sheridan. Well, who are they? They're none other than the Rangers that Sinclair told us about over a video conference a whole bunch of episodes ago. They are now naming Sheridan their leader. They're forming an army of light to fight against the army of darkness. And I'm not making that up. That is literally what they said. And the episode ends on one of the most rousing speeches ever committed to film.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
Nope. Sorry. Wrong button. One of the most rousing speeches ever committed to film.
But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
No, no, wrong button. One of the most rousing speeches ever committed to film.
Tell them that from this place we will deliver notice to the parliaments of conquerors that a line has been drawn against the darkness. And we will hold that line, no matter the cost.
Jeff, what did you think of the long Twilight struggle?
Do you remember there was a season 1 episode? It wasn't, I don't know if you remember it or not. It was called Chrysalis.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of an episode that we watched. So it ended with Commander Sinclair saying that nothing is the same anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And holy, he's right. I mean, nothing is the same after this one. This episode is incredible, Brent. It was so good. This is the episode we've been waiting all season for.
Yes.
It was at the end of season 1. We were getting bombarded with people. Oh, season 2, this is where it gets going. This is what happens. Yeah, we're like 3 episodes to the end or whatever. And yes, we're here.
Yeah.
Season 2 has taken off.
You remember those big episodes from season 1? Signs and Portents.
Right.
Chrysalis. That we were like, yeah, they're okay. A Voice in the Wilderness. Yeah, it was okay. Like, it was pretty good. Yeah. Season 1. It's about as good as you're going to get in a season 1 sci-fi show. Like, they were good. They were good. I liked it. Enjoyed it. This one, exactly what you just said, Jeff. This is what we were promised.
This is Babylon 5. You know, when people talk about Babylon 5, yeah, it's the serialized stuff that happens. It's the long story arcs. It's the character development. But it's moments like these where everything pays off in a way that you finish watching this episode and you feel both defeated, you feel empty, but you also feel like unchecked hope and optimism, you know, all at the same time. It's this episode, like, it played me like a fiddle. You know, with all the emotional roller coaster that we went through, the things that we learned. I mean, the Narn are Centauri now. You know, I mean, holy crud. That's something, before the coming of Shadows, I never would have guessed that those words would come out of my mouth.
I thought that we would get to the end of the Narn Centauri war, and it would be a little bit like a reset button. We would go back to the 5 council members, and maybe even there'd be some sort of deepening of the relationship between Londo and G'Kar. You know, certainly there's still some myth, because I think I've said a long time ago, those two can never actually be friends, right? But there could at least be some mutual respect, I think, maybe that's starting to garner, like something would happen. And I said, I've been calling for it all season long, the redemption of Londo Mollari. And I got to tell you, after this episode, I'm done with Londo.
He's not
like, I hate it. Yeah. Londo is irredeemable.
What's amazing to me the way they did this, and the seed for what I'm about to say was planted back in And Now for a Word, when Torkman was saying of G'Kar and Londo, they're saying the same thing, but they're not communicating with each other. That parallel path continued here, where G'Kar is at the lowest point we've ever seen him. I mean, yeah, you said it. He had to do that walk of shame out of the council chambers, but oh my, what an holy crud.
He owned that.
He did. His speech, I even wrote his little speech down because it was so powerful, but he walked out low as he's ever been. But here's the thing. Londo's at the lowest point he's ever been, because at the end of this episode, the way I read the end of this episode, he's garbage, and he knows it. The episode began with learning the Emperor Cartagia. Is that how you say his name? Cartagia, whatever, something like that. Cartagia. It doesn't matter, because he's just a puppet for Rifa. And Londo, I think, realized when they said that the Centauri were annexing other worlds, Londo realized, oh crud, I'm just a puppet too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's now had to go in front of these people he's worked to build relationships with, swing bravado to the skies. I mean, his yelling about all the terms of the surrender. And then at the end of the day, he's going to end up drinking alone at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, you remember when Londo was happy-go-lucky, going to the strip club, going to the casino, dancing on the table and kissing the butt of his little idol thing, like, you know, cheating at cards. Like, that Londo is no more.
He's gone.
He's gone. And it was hard for me to look at him and think of those times and see this. And you know the part that really did it for me, and I know this sounds like really stupid given like here's all the other things and then this is what sealed it for me, was when he yelled at Sheridan. I went, "No, Commander!" Like when and I think what that really symbolized was there is no going back for Londo. Like on some level, there could be Londo is a messenger of his home world. He's delivering on his duties as an ambassador. But that is the moment when Londo digs in. That's the moment when Londo
he plants his flag.
He does. He really does. And regardless if he doesn't feel comfortable with it, regardless if he feels guilty about it, he's done it. And he is guilty. He should feel guilty because he is guilty. And you and I have both said it. He is irredeemable. Now, the people out there listening right now who know where this show goes, there's 3 more seasons. I imagine at some point something's going to I mean, my God, if Jaime freaking Lannister can become the highlight of Game of Thrones after what we saw him do for the first 3 or 4 seasons, I guess Londo, they could do something with Londo before the end of this whole thing is up. But right now, and I don't know how Londo ever could be forgiven for any of this, or how he could ever pay any amount of recompense other than dying.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A couple episodes, 7, 8 episodes, I think ago. That's what I said. Londo will have to sacrifice himself to. Yeah. I thought it was to end the war.
Yeah.
And but now I think that's how it will be one of those things that 4 seconds before he plunges to his death or whatever, people are going to be like, "That dude was all right," but he has to die for that to happen.
He does. Yeah, like he absolutely does. Did you notice you know, like we've noted Londo, like his hair's gotten a little bigger and a lot blacker, you know, and his suit has gone from this rich purpley to a dark black color now. Are his fangs longer?
I think they're sharper. They definitely showed more.
I mean, they emphasized them in this particular episode for sure. I have a question though about Londo.
Okay.
And by the way, here's the thing. I don't know about you, Jeff. I don't have much laughing at this episode. I don't have much goofs or cut-ups and observations. So, I
have 2 quick ones. I have 2, but let's
get to those in just a moment. But I've got a question. There was a moment where I think it was right after Londo left, or no, I'm sorry, not Londo, Jakar left. It was somewhere in that scene. The camera stops on Londo, on Peter Jurisic. Is that how you say his name?
Jurisic.
You know what? Ivanova is an easier name to get right than that one.
I know.
He coughs. Did you
yes,
catch it?
I did.
He gives a little.
They sat on it for a second.
They did, but then they move on. And I'm like, I immediately sat there and I was like, that seems on purpose. That seems like a seed that JMS is planting that's going to come back later.
It's already been planted. That seed's already been planted. And this is the first like little sprout. When it was in the Coming of Shadows where he had his full vision. We saw the whole vision where we saw him and like scarred Jakar, you know, and strangling each other. And he was dressed up like he was the Emperor. And there were a couple scenes in that where he was like Emperor Londo, kind of like sick and coughing. That was part of his vision. So I like the first time I watched that, I thought the same thing as you. Oh, that cough is going to be something. Then when I watched it the second, I'm like, oh my God, it already is. Like to me, this not only like this affirms he's irredeemable because now he's on that path, the path that's going to lead to him alone on the Emperor's throne, waiting to be strangled to death by scarred Jakar.
Except don't forget what bald lady dude said in Signs of Importance. It can change.
It can
still change.
But he's on the path. Like that's where he's moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my 2 quick goofs. One was the new drawl. What did you think of our good Klingon ambassador playing drawl?
Oh, that's who he was. I was trying to figure it out. I didn't spend too much time thinking about it, but that's who he was. Okay. At first I hated it because when he came, I mean, I was like, this is as bad of a recasting as Natoth.
Yeah.
And then they hung a lantern on it. They gave you a reason for it. They told you, yeah, look, the machines rolled me back and I'm youthful vigor and I'm 30 years younger. And I was like, cool, I can deal with that. I can hang with that. There were times where I was like, has anybody told this guy that he's acting on television and not on a stage right now?
Seriously.
Because like there are just times like he's just having a regular conversation and he's talking like this. I was like,
rolling his R's.
But I mean, maybe that's just draw. Maybe that's the battery part of him. I don't know. I found him endearing. I found him amusing. I found him potentially menacing. Like if Kosh had a sense of humor, now you have draw.
Okay.
If he had a sense of the dramatic and a sense of humor, now you have draw. You know?
Yeah.
So it's one of those, like, it was a little annoying at first, and then I kind of warmed up to him. Like, I kind of like him. What did you think of him?
I couldn't stand him at first.
Yeah,
Even when they had the explanation, I was like, well, thanks for explaining it. This is still ridiculous. On my second watch through, though, I thought that, because he talked about, like, I thought it was fascinating how he said the planet has rejuvenated him. Because we watched Mr. House in A Voice in the Wilderness, like, get sucked dry from it. So, like, at some point, that's going to flip. I'm rejuvenating you, and now it's going to flip, and I'm going to suck you dry. But there's also other people there taking care of the planet. A notable one, by the way, which we can talk about in a little bit. But he talked about how he communicated with other people that are taking care of this thing. There's got to be a lot of personalities built into this machine that I think probably came in. And so it became, you know, almost a part of him as well. You know, he absorbed pieces of the other batteries over there that I think also he's just an old man who hasn't talked to his grandkids in a really long time. And so when Sheridan and Delenn showed up, like, oh my, there are people here. I'm so excited. So I warmed up to him on the second one, but
okay, I'm glad you did, because
work.
I'm glad you did, because I kind of liked him. Okay, I've got two thoughts about him real quick. Were we looking, when we're down on the planet, are we looking at his body, or is that like an astral projection of him?
We saw his body in the thing. And then so they showed him in the gimmick, right? That he was all
really
lashed up to
that at all.
So him walking around was the hologram version of him. So up in the station and down on the planet which I thought was a really great way to let him interact, right? I'm gonna project myself, and then I can just be dude walking with you.
So you referenced it just a second ago. He talks about there are others here as well. Who are the others? Like, that's fascinating to me.
Well, he told us who one of them was.
Ooh.
Zathras. Zathras cared for Epsilon 3.
I didn't catch that part of it. And maybe you're right. I saw Zathras, but I was just thinking he was like, Zathras is like a little servant who comes in and out and goes off and does his bidding and whatever. But I didn't think of it as Zathras as one of the others in the machine. That's an interesting thought.
I don't know that he's in the machine, and I don't know that all the others were in. Like on my first watch through, the impression I got was there were others hooked up to machines through the planet. Second time through, he said there are others caring for the planet. And so some might be hooked up to machines, some might be sweeping the floors.
Right.
Some might be Zathras.
So what'd you do when he said Zathras?
I was like, my exact first thought was, Brent's going to be so excited.
I was so excited.
You were off by like 1 or 2 episodes.
I know. But he didn't show up. It was just Zathras. Oh gosh, he's never around when you need him. And then he walks away, and I was like, it was perfect. It was short of actually having Zathras pop out somewhere. It was about as perfect of a reference as you could get to him.
Did you catch my other little funny piece before we get really deep into stuff? Did you catch who played Justen, the war leader?
I did, because the voice got me. So you know who I thought it was at first? I thought it was Martok, J.G. Hertzler. Mm-hmm. That's who I first thought it was J.G. Hertzler. And I was like, no, that's not quite right. That's not quite right. And then I actually looked it up, and it's the Soul Hunter.
Murder Soul Hunter.
Yeah.
It actually brought him back.
Right?
He was a lot better this time. A lot better this time.
They're not going to bring him back in this role, though.
No, which is too bad. Which is too bad. It was, we talked to, I forget which episode it was, but it was where they showed us the inside of a Narn ship that was blowed up by the Centauri.
Yeah.
And, Jakar showed everybody the footage and was like, hey, feel sorry for me. Come on, help me out.
Yeah.
And we were asking, like, is this propaganda just to make us feel bad for the Narn? What we saw here was like, no, like, they're cool. Like, I would have loved to have served under Justen, even though he would refuse to listen to Jakar, who had the magic, to fix everything. I feel like I would really like to work for that guy.
Sure. I had this thought though, with all of that going down, after they just got their butts obliterated, and then we're like in the bar where the news channel is giving the report, and you've got a couple of Centauri and you've got a couple Narn, and then there's a Minbari here and a few different things, and you're like, this is about to go down.
Yeah.
Right. And then you turn around and like one of those guys is doing like a flying leap kick. One of the Centauri is, and like really quickly, all of the Centauri dispatch these Narn.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, visually, these Narn are badass looking dudes, man. Like they are the warriors, the whatever. And I'm kind of sitting here like, I know they're supposed to be kangaroos more related to them than they are, wild boars. Are they just bad fighters? Like, they're not the warrior race that they kind of look like they are at all.
Not at all.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the worst part in that scene was the poor news anchor kicks off with, hey, there's bad stuff happening over on the Narn homeworld, and Earthdom thinks that they're responsible. Earthdom? Did you misread the cue card, Ace? Like
Earthdome?
Yeah, so there's an E at the end. My daughter calls that a bossy E because it makes the vowel say its name.
We say that it gives the vowel all of its power.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that better because I'm not a big fan of boss. But
Right. Okay, I think I do have a little fun one here. There was a moment, the way they edited this show together, this episode together, that I thought a whole bunch of stuff was going on that didn't actually happen. So at the very beginning, Drawl comes on the station, and the guy in CNC recognizes something's happening down on the planet, and he says, let's call Commander Ivanova. And then we flash to a quarters with a steady cam walking through the quarters, and you hear the shower in the background. And I'm like, wow, Talia's not even been off the station for 24 hours, and Ivanova's getting it on in the shower with somebody. Totally thought that's what we were getting ready to walk into. And then we turn, and there's Sheridan's back, and I was like, it's Sheridan? Where's Ivanova? Oh no, we're in Sheridan's quarters. They called for Ivanova and then flashed us over to Sheridan's quarters. And I was like, it was a real brief moment of like, and then
I did the same math.
Came crashing down. But the editing was not playing favors for you at all in that particular moment.
No, but it was cool in that scene because another Drawl moment that on second watch added so much to him, where he's giving his big speech and look how important. Oh, I'm sorry. You can get dressed if you want. Like, I don't mean to interrupt. And he's like, no, I'm fine. He's like, okay.
I'm good.
Well, then I'm back to giving him.
Anyway.
But then he's like, then I'm back to giving my big speech again. Like,
right.
It's fun.
Okay, so I thought this was kind of cool, and I haven't seen this before, or at least I've never noticed it before. The shadow weird ships, spider ships, whatever we call them, when they were done attacking, which, by the way they took out those Narn, not to shoot the ship. we're going to let you open a jump gate, get into the vortex of it, and then we're going to shoot the jump gate and collapse the jump gate on you.
It's brutal.
That's, oh my gosh. Like, you're not even floating in space at that point. Like, you're just gone.
Yeah.
But when they were done with that and they started flying away, did they all like collapse together like collectible Tupperware and like become a single ship again?
What I thought I saw was one of the ships had one of its spider legs blown off, like the Narn actually damaged it, and then the other one of the full spiders came and like piggybacked it and grabbed it to take it away.
Okay, that might have been what it was, because it looked to me like they were all just sort of like Voltron coming together, and like now they're going to fly off together. And
it's like a big shadow sandwich that can split off. And then I thought it was really fascinating too how they launched like the Narn flashed a mine, like mines that went out, and then I thought that was the shadows were launching back. I'm like, oh, so mines are a big thing. Oh no, these aren't mines. These are like 100 little tiny fighter ships that are going to come and all over the big war. These shadows are no joke. Like these things are big time. And honestly, if they can rock all those Narn like that and one of the ships loses a little leg and that's it, Delen's right. There's no way the rest of the galaxy can even try to stand up to them at this point.
But I mean, again, you've got to go back to that whole, I think it's that organic tech thing that I keep waiting to come back into the whole thing. Organic tech down on the planet, organic tech with Kosh and his whole people, organic tech with the shadows themselves. Like,
what's going to happen?
What?
Franklin.
Oh no, don't say it. No.
He's going to program a virus that he'll upload to the shadows, and he's going to totally Will Smith the whole thing. And Franklin's going to be the hero who figures out how to take down the shadows.
And Sheridan will step up and say,
"But as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night."
Okay.
You know, my favorite thing about that whole piece was they used an old, I think it was a Power Street G3 MacBook that they used for that scene where they uploaded. It wasn't a G3. It was well before. No, but it was a Power Mac laptop that they used to upload the virus. And back in the day, especially in the Power Mac and the G3, G4 days, the whole thing was, well, Macs never get viruses. But they uploaded a virus to the aliens and it killed them. And so it's like, yeah, they never do. But when they do get a virus, man, they will mess you up.
All right, Jeff. Delen cussing. Delen trying to cuss. That was
fun. That was fun.
Good. Again, I go back to what I said last week. John and Delen are so cute together. They're just cute. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the war itself and the reasoning. Rifa's reasoning for going to war and doing this thing, right? And calling the shadows in. Talking about, we could continue fighting the way we are and we'll just continue to lose more and more Centauri lives. We're eventually going to win anyway. But this way, at least it's one swift stroke and cut the head off. We're good to go. Save a whole bunch of lives in the process. That sounds like a good idea, right?
Sort of.
And I'm realizing in the moment, isn't that the same reasoning that the United States used back in 1945 when they decided to drop the atomic bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima?
Totally.
Like, that's like, because we could either go island by island and eventually we would take it over, or let's just go drop this and be done with it. And yeah.
I always enjoy my opportunities to quote Rush on this show, or really just in life, period. It's one of my favorite things to do. But Rush has... No, the real Rush, the good Rush, the one that's in a Hall of Fame that matters to some people.
The one that's on a poster on your wall back there.
Exactly. Yeah, actually two. There's two of them right there, and I have one over there also. But they have a song on their Power Windows record. It's not even the first time I've quoted one from Power Windows, but the Manhattan Project, and they have a line that says, "The pilot of Enola Gay flying out of the shockwave on that August day," and what that always meant to me was, yeah, that was a efficient way to end the war, right? It just boom, we're done. But that dude who flew the plane and opened the bay doors, had to live with that.
Yeah.
His whole life. I would be fascinated. I don't know if there's a movie or a book or something, but there's no way dude went home and just, had a TV dinner with the family and was like, yeah, I won the war today. That guy was carrying some stuff. In this version of that, I think that's exactly what this was an analogy for. But they took that piece out. They took the pilot away and they made it the shadows, and then kind of made Londo the pilot. He's the one who basically made the call for the shadows to do it, but he didn't have to fly over. Actually, I take that back. He did. He stood on the bridge of that ship and watched
it happen. Yeah.
In what I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant a flag here in what was possibly one of the most powerful scenes and moments in television.
I can berate Londo all I want, but Peter Jurassic's acting against a window, against his own reflection, was phenomenal.
He told a whole story with
you
his
felt
face.
Every bit of it, and it didn't matter in the end because the character still chose what he chose. But you could tell everything from his it was so good.
Yeah, and he's going to hold on to that. And I think I've used this analogy before, but I think this is it. This is Anakin walking in on the younglings and just being like, well, here we go.
Yep.
Next thing you know, he's Darth
now.
Vader. Yep. This was Londo's younglings moment.
And there was a moment of redemption for Darth Vader. Dang it, Jeff. I don't want Londo to be redeemed right now. I'm still mad at him.
Darth Vader had to die to get redeemed.
Ooh, good point. But still. So there was another moment that actually very much reminded me of what we're seeing today. So Jeff, as this episode comes out, as we're recording this episode, we have just passed like the 1 year anniversary of this whole, ever since Russia first did stuff in Ukraine. And there's been a lot of really horrible stuff over the last year that has happened and come out. War crimes, torture, targeting civilians. And yet the West and everyone else around the world protests, but we don't do anything about it really. Like, yeah, we send some stuff, we throw a bunch of supplies, whatever, but at what point are we stepping in?
Yeah.
Until Russia brings us in to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. But like, that's what happened here is Londo shows up and he's like, this is all that happens. And they're like, the Earth and Minbari governments have already filed a protest with the Centauri government over their treatment of whatever. Okay. But you didn't stop it.
The Centauri
didn't do anything about it.
Centauri didn't even acknowledge them. And they were filing protests against their use of illegal outlawed weapons. Those mass drivers were illegal. But I think the key point in there that's even bigger that adds to your point is it wasn't just the Earth and Minbari governments that filed protests. The Vorlon
I was trying to think if it was the Vorlon as well, but yeah.
And they could have just ended this whole thing.
The Vorlon? Oh, yeah. Like, could have stepped in and been like, okay, we got you.
Done. We're finished. There we go. Now, maybe they're not doing that because they know the shadows are involved and them showing up to fight the shadows would immediately escalate things. Maybe. But also, you took the time to file a protest. Ooh. That's what the first ones bring to the table. I don't know if I'm so excited you're around anymore.
But again, a part of that whole first one, don't let the little squabbles bother you. Let them fight it out. And this would be one of those let them fight it out situations. But they actually went to the process of filing a protest through the ambassador deal.
I hope that Kosh felt like an idiot when he was doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, I guess I'm here you go. I did the thing.
You almost want like Sheridan and Delenn to like go to Kosh and be like, hey, can you file this with us? Like present a united front. And Kosh is kind of like, okay, fine.
Kind of on that though. So that was one of the few times that we talked about Earth government, Minbari government, Vorlon government. We talked a lot about, the Centauri and Narn, the Kari government, but everything that came out though with Sheridan and Delenn through this episode, aligning with Drawl, that wasn't an alliance with Earth Force or the Minbari. That was an alliance with Sheridan and Babylon 5. Right. At the very end of the episode, when it was, here's the Rangers, they're not here to help Minbar or Earth. They're here to help Babylon 5. Like, we're starting to really see Sheridan and Babylon 5 carve out as this separate entity. And I think...
Is that going to go the full way?
I think it is.
I think it has to. Like, it's got to cut off Earth support and become its own entity, right?
In Babylon Squared, when they had the flash forward scene where Garibaldi and Sinclair were fighting and going, my initial theory was that was Earth Force attacking Babylon 5. What we've seen progress through this season, I'm almost back to that they're going to end up in a firefight with Earth.
Did you find the naming scheme here as ridiculous as I did? The army of light against the army of darkness. Like, I get it. Like, I mean, talk about bonk over the head. You know, like,
I had a problem with it because I doubt they're bringing Bruce Campbell in, for one. But I think I have a bigger problem with it, though, fundamentally, and this might be my misunderstanding of Babylon 5. So I'll own that as I say this, but my impression was that Babylon 5 was about there is no clear good and clear evil. Everything is a shade of gray and nothing is what it appears to be, but we're going to have a purely good light army and a purely... Well, but then as I say that, right, darkness isn't all bad. You can sleep well in it and whatever. Light can't always be good. It starts fires and burns things. So maybe I'm reading too much into just the binary lightness and darkness thing, but it does just seem very just like, hey, so Star Trek apparently ripped us off is the rumor, so we're just going to rip off Star Wars. Because, I mean, nobody's doing that yet.
Right. So we have the Rangers that are in. I mean, Jeff, unless you have anything else, I think we're at that spot of the show, my friend.
We're there.
So that spot of the show being, it is time to boil all of this down and see if this show has any of that Star Trek-y quality to it. Is there a deep moral message? Is it holding up a mirror to society? Is it giving us hope that things can and will be better in the future? So in order to do that, I am going to rate this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 deltas as to how Star Trek this episode is. And Jeff, you are going to rate this episode on a scale of 0 to 5 Star Furies as to how Babylon 5 this episode is. I'll go first. There were two places specifically that I thought this really pulled in. It took its responsibility as sci-fi, as television seriously and said, we're here to actually make a statement. It's not just entertainment, but we're here to make a statement, right? Now, they couldn't have known this way back then. I mentioned earlier how a lot of what they're doing reflects what we have been seeing here over the last year in our own time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I loved the sort of speech that Draw gave to Sheridan, where they name checked the episode.
He said the thing.
He said he did it. There it is. You know, it's that Leonardo DiCaprio treat, like, got it. But he said, in the long twilight struggle ahead, there is the possibility of hope, which is something we need right now, because in many ways it feels like right now to us in this day and age, it feels as if we are in the middle of stuff, wars. Now, whether it's on our own shores and our own borders or it's away, it feels like we're in the middle of it, and it doesn't feel like there's an end in sight. Because you know what we also have coming up here in the next year in America? Your favorite time and mine, a presidential election.
Yeah.
You know? And there's just so much. It's so easy to get bogged down and get depressed over the state of the world, of the country, of everything going on. And it really is nice to hear that, hey, in the midst of all of that, there is hope on the other side. You know, like it was really great. Like, hey, we're bringing all of these people together because even though all of this stuff is happening and you're not going to be able to prevent it, there's hope. There's hope that we actually can overcome it. There's hope that we're going to get through it. There's hope that we're going to be better when we come out of it. I loved that particular line. But then how do you not look at the line from Sheridan at the very end? From this place, we will deliver a notice to the parliaments of conquerors that a line has been drawn here, and no further. And you can't buzz me because you already did once for that same reference. He says, against the darkness, and we will hold that line no matter the cost. I mean, that has to be a line that JMS has, like, he held on to, and he had it for a really long time and was just waiting to be able to throw it in, you know? But I mean, gosh, talk about hope of the future in a different way, I think, than what Star Trek would give us, but still putting that there. Definitely, I think, a mirror of society, of the way that things really are happening right now. So I'm going to give this one 4 deltas. And I think I'm just trying to not give it 5, but I think I'm going to give this one 4 deltas.
I can totally agree with that. I'm going to make a case for 5. You don't have to take it. I think 4 is a great rating. But what you didn't bring up was Jakar's speech.
Oh my gosh, how did I forget that? Yes.
Right. And he talks quite a bit about there is no greater power in the universe than the need for freedom. Against that power, governments and tyrants and armies cannot stand. The Centauri learned this lesson once. We will teach it to them again. Though it take 1,000 years, we will be free.
Yeah.
And then he walked off into the sunset. I mean, that is, again, not how Star Trek would do it, but that's the message. And I think, to me, Jakar's speech and Sheridan's speech both really double down on our piece where we call this the Star Trek-y message. We rate it with deltas, but it's not about Star Trek. It's about the message. And that's these two speeches and Drawls as well. But to me, these two especially just really shine a light on that piece that we can come together and we can fight the tyranny of evil men. We can fight the parliament of conquerors. I mean, what
a great line.
Yeah, beautiful language and such a great message as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at 4, and I can't believe I forgot to because I have it. It's right here. It's right here in my notes. I just glossed over it, and I was sitting there in my head like, was that it? I thought there was 3, but whatever. White and black just all runs together after a while. So yeah, how about you, Jeff? What are your Star Furies you got for us?
Well, I'm going to go there. This is a 5-star Fury episode. Yeah. I mean, it's literally what we've been talking about. This is what we've been waiting for. It's destruction. It's war. There are alliances. There's conspiracies. There's the destruction, the decimation, not just of races, but of people, of Jakar, of Londo. I mean, it's horrible and it's great. It gives you the hope like you just talked about. And they mentioned Zathras. I mean, that mention alone, that buys 2 Star Furies just by mentioning him.
Right? That makes it way Babylon 5, just mentioning Zathras.
Exactly. No, this was such a great episode of Babylon 5. I'm excited to rank this episode. I'll say that much. Like, this was fantastic.
Well, you're the one doing the ranking this week, not me, although I know I certainly would put it in a particular spot. Let's see if you do that, because Jeff, here in season 2, we are ranking these episodes and we are compiling the absolute 100% completely accurate definitive ranking of Babylon 5 season 2. Jeff, it's your week. I can't argue with you. But again, I know where I'd put it. Where do you put the long Twilight struggle?
Well, we do have
our top 5. Sorry. Our top 5
hit it.
Is The Coming of Shadows, A Race Through Dark Places, In the Shadow of Zahadum, Alone in the Night, and Divided Loyalties. All, by the way, in a roller coaster of a season, very strong episodes.
We do have that space just above the long dark at the bottom of this.
I'm going to punch you.
No, I think, so if we just think about what this episode did, right? This episode started really in earnest in The Coming of Shadows, which is our top episode right now. This closed that arc, is kicking us off in a new direction. It took all the things we loved about the Coming of Shadows, ramped it up big time. Brent, this is our number one. This is the top episode of season 2.
Absolutely agree. And I can't change it, even if I didn't. But I absolutely agree. This was a fantastic, not just a fantastic hour of television. Jeff, when the whole Narn thing and the shadows and the ships were just obliterating everybody, and I'm like, they're doing this 2 episodes before the season finale. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Save your budget, folks. But like, I'm also like, I had to look at the time. Like, it's only 25 minutes into the episode. Are you really? Like, it felt like we were close to the end of the episode at that point. They just packed so much in, so much goodness all the way around. Absolutely number 1.
But we'll find, but we have reached a point of the episode, Brent, that I've often this season been glad we reached. I'm a little disappointed that we're here right now because that's it for the long Twilight struggle. Next week, we're going to be watching Comes the Inquisitor for the first time. We don't watch ahead. We don't read ahead. We don't look ahead. We don't know anything. So based on the title alone, Brent, what do you think Comes the Inquisitor is going to be about?
You know how we often like want the episode to continue its story, but we know it doesn't and it goes off? Well, I'm going back to this episode's continuing the story. All right. And here's what we have. We now have G'Kar living in exile in Sanctuary on the station where Londo is. I think this is really where we see G'Kar. I don't know if he's starting to mount a defense, but I think there's I feel like this Inquisitor, what it immediately calls to mind, and I'm sorry to continually reference. Actually, no, I'm not sorry at all. I'm going to reference what I reference. It feels like Dolores Umbridge to me, where she literally was called the High Inquisitor. But it feels like there's going to be somebody coming to the station, right? And they're going to be like the dividing line. You're the almost maybe even trying to take over. And here's going to be G'Kar, who is deposed, he's going to have to start making a few moves. Or maybe it's him trying to figure out what he's going to do. But I think this Inquisitor is probably going to be Centauri. And they're coming in with this new power base. I mean, think how much the Centauri regime, realm, empire has just grown by taking over Narn and all these little things around it. They're declaring part of the Protectorate as well. Like they've just picked up a huge swath that honestly focuses their power base a little bit more. So maybe they try to seize control of Babylon 5. What do you think, Jeff?
This is going to be the penultimate episode of this season.
Yes.
Everything that happens in this one really is going to ramp us up for what's going to be the start of the Great War, right? That's going to be the season finale.
Okay.
I think. So This has to put all the dominoes set up for that to move. I think this is about an Inquisitor who's going to come, and specifically going to come to Sheridan. I think this Inquisitor is going to be his wife Anna, and it's going to be a modernized version of Anna who shows up to ask him what he wants.
What?
Yeah.
Are you what?
I am still convinced that she's not dead and that she has chosen the path of Morden and she's working for the shadows.
Jeff, that is a reach. That is you trying to manifest some weird theory that you have, dude. She's gone.
I planted this seed. I think it was in Revelations.
Remember. You did. I remember. I remember you talking about this, that you said she's not dead. And I was like, pfft. And let me repeat that now. Pfft.
Probably.
Okay.
But you know what? If I'm right, like this is
if you're right, I'm calling shenanigans on you not watching ahead. 100%.
Fair enough. I'm just flexing my muscles as a sci-fi aficionado.
You're trying to take my crown. Are you coming for my job there, Jeff?
I'll let you take it week to week. I'm taking the big one. I'm going for the big one.
All right.
Well, we'll find out right here next week. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, you need to get your review in for our giveaway that's going to happen here in just 3 weeks at our season 2 wrap-up episode. That's right, because 2 more episodes and then the wrap-up. So 3 more weeks. So go to Apple Podcasts, go to Audible, go to Podchaser, go to Good Pods, go somewhere, leave us a review, screenshot that, email it to us at babylon5first@gmail.com. It's the number 5, the word first, or on Twitter at babylon1st, and you'll be entered in the giveaway. If you've already left a review, you're awesome, and you're also in that drawing. So 3 weeks, going to give away a mini Babylon 5 and a little plastic John Sheridan. So Brent, until next time.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, Brent.
Are you sure this isn't the season finale?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure? Like, how sure are you?
I am so sure. Peace and long life, everybody.
It's my first time.
Club 65. What's up, y'all?
It is
You're
you.
You made it.
Hey, I thought of a thing I forgot to bring up in the episode that we can have here for Club 65.
Yeah, Club 65 exclusive. Lay it on us, Jeff.
So Captain Sheridan goes to G'Kar and says, hey, you've got all my resources. I'm going to help you overtake the Narn.
Yeah.
Goes to shake his hand, and he's like, last time someone shook my hand, they declared war on me. And they shake hands. And there was really weird, like they made some weird sound audio choices there where you could just hear the gloves like kind of going. That was weird. Yeah. Sheridan walks off. G'Kar looks at his hand, and he's got this satisfied look on his face. Do you think in that moment he was like, I finally got Earth on our side, and now we're going to go get the Centauri? Or was he just like, Earth's about to declare war on us? It was just a weird look on his face.
Well, I mean, what's interesting is if Earth does declare war on them, they're declaring war on the Centauri.
At this point,
like if Earth declares war, let me rephrase that. If Earth declares war on the Centauri, they are now thereby declaring war on Narn as well, right? Although Earth is not going to go attack Narn itself. No. So, I don't. It could have been anything. I mean, the way you describe it, I didn't notice that. But the way you describe it, it almost like maybe he had one of those like films over his glove or his hand, and like when he shook hands, now he has Sheridan's handprint, and he's going to use it for some nefarious like. Or
he had one of the patches they put on Kosh in the gathering, and now Sheridan's going to die.
Right, there it is.
That'd be terrible. No,
that's it. It's like okay,
it's like haha, gotcha for whatever.
I don't know, man. Both Andreas Katsoulis and Peter Jurasik are just knocking it out of the park. What did you think of the way that Bruce Boxleitner delivered his rah-rah at the end?
Can I tell you first what I hoped happened there?
What's that?
I kind of wanted him to give his Abraham Lincoln speech.
Okay.
Like to start off, there was almost be like there was a great American president, Abraham Lincoln, who, that's not really going to cut it for this. Because what I thought of his speech was that it started out a little rough. Like he was kind of like stumbling over, which makes sense.
He was taken aback though, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You just, I mean, literally got hit in the face with so much. And then he's like, and then he hits his stride. And like, to me, that's the moment that Captain Sheridan became General Sheridan. Like you're the man now. Like, yeah, he's great. He's going to like, out of this, he's going to become a general. He's going to run for president. His whole career is built. Yeah. He's going to follow Jonathan, the other Jonathan, be an archer and go that direction.
There you go. Well, I mean, hey, listen, Clark is not going to make it out of this show alive, is he?
No, there's no way.
Right?
No way.
Like, or maybe he might make it out alive, but he's not as president by the end of the show. So
I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think it's going to be Psychor that takes him out.
Probably.
Because
he'll be collateral damage.
Yeah, you take care. Well, you take care. You get rid of your witnesses. This guy knows everything, and so he's got to go. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm curious what other theories we can throw out here for Club 65 that'll just upset them.
I'm heartbroken over Londo though, Jeff. Like I'm off the Londo train. I'm off the Londo train.
Well, that's another thing I was thinking too. Because they had Rifa and him on Centauri Prime. Those sets are still there. I think Londo's leaving the station.
He needs to. He doesn't need to be around anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And then he'll just have little spots here and there as dude running around the palace.
Well, I mean, we already know he's only in like 3/4 of the episode a season, maybe half episodes of the season. Like,
yeah.
What are they in? Because the only people who really appear in every episode is Sheridan, Ivanova, and Garibaldi.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like everybody else Delenn seems like she's making more and more of an appearance, but like Kosh shows up like once every 10 episodes, it seems like.
I bet they have 11 episode, like half season deals sort of thing. Like, because I know like in back in the day, the 26 episode seasons, it would be very common to give somebody a 13 episode deal. You wouldn't necessarily use them for 13 episodes. They'd get paid for 13.
Yeah.
They'd get in the main credits, but they only needed to show up part of the time.
Yeah. And they only pay the lead 3, which makes, I mean, because even with the original Star Trek, it was Bones, Spock, and Kirk. And I mean, let's like having Sulu on the bridge, as big as it was awesome. Mm-hmm. Having Uhura back there was awesome, but they were very much side characters.
And there'd be times they had one or two lines total. Yeah. And sometimes they were off screen. A lot of there was one episode I did for Starfleet Leadership Academy, I don't know, like a year ago. And it had a line from Scotty, one single line. He didn't appear on camera, and it was actually from a different episode. They just like
they just pulled the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Next Generation did that with Geordi a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Like and Riker, or even like I think there was an episode that Patrick Stewart was directing, and the only thing you heard of Picard the whole episode was like him over the intercom. No, he was in every single episode. Anyway,
I think he was the only one that was in every episode.
Every episode, yeah. But like there were ones that like they would come over their only thing would be through the intercom thing. So anyway, hey, Club 65, you guys are awesome. Thanks for joining us, Jeff. I'm gonna go watch the next episode.
Yeah, me too.
See y'all. Let's go do it. Bye, guys.